I don't think you will stop making albums until wallahi your pension age.
I mean, one of is.
Nah, you're
Marvellous,
bugging.
bro.
No way.
Not in a
No,
bad
you know
way.
is.
I'm not saying the music will fall
No,
off.
no,
but
no,
you're
no,
making
no.
I just
moves.
think every album will explore his interest. Like,
That's my point.
It'll be like cosmic funk,
Cosmic
it'll be
funk.
modal jazz.
Modal jazz.
You know what I'm saying? Bit of Afro beats.
Bit of Afro
You know what I
beats.
mean? Like, avant-garde Afro beats.
There
With
we
like
go.
live instrumentation and
And
all
my
that.
piano,
all that-
depending on where he
all that
wants to
shit.
take it.
Yeah,
And my piano
yeah.
potential.
New age, yeah, all thing.
Or
Yeah,
this
all
guy
thing.
here. This
You
guy's
man are
dropping
bugging.
crazy.
It'd be a whole
Inside his
thing.
first 16 years,
It'd be in
he's
his
dropping 10
Coltrane bag,
albums.
it'd be in his Prince bag, his Sun Ra
Wow.
bag, his Free Stacks
Say
bag,
Coltrane bag.
his Marvin Gaye bag, his D'Angelo bag, his Pino Palladino bag, his Aquarius bag,
Yo, Pino
his
Palladino.
Bilal bag.
Pino Palladino is
Need I go on?
no.
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 85 of the Rhymes Like Diamonds podcast. We boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
Yo,
myself Yemi, back again. Boys, how we doing today?
Bless, bro. How are you, man?
All good, all good, all good. Mohammed, yourself?
chilling. God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good.
There we go,
Amen,
there we go.
amen. Shout out to Drake's in the cut as well.
Big up Drakes.
Salute.
Big up,
Drakes.
big up. Big up everybody listening and watching. Shout out to the SoundCloud massive, Spotify massive, Apple Podcast massive, Amazon Music massive, the Google Podcast massive, the Stitcher massive. We got a few more massives now. Castbeam as well. I see you guys. Yeah, big up all of you. We've been introduced to a couple new platforms, and we're there. So wherever you know a podcast is, podcast service is, we're there. So big up to all of you listening and watching. Shout out to YouTube massive as well. Subscribe. Yeah, man. We're just gonna get straight to it. Actually, no. How your week's been, boys?
It's been alright, bro. Been watching a lot of Game of Thrones.
Right.
Finally.
You know what I mean?
Can I get into that shit?
Been working out quite a bit. Meditating a lot. Diving back into yoga as well.
Oh,
Yeah. It's
So
good, man. It's
downward facing
difficult.
dog, yeah?
Yeah, it's difficult, huh? It really is. But yeah, man, I've had a very busy week, but yeah, it's all good. man.
okay.
And
So
yourself?
you guys just laugh at me when I do yoga, yeah?
I want to laugh now.
It's the idea of you,
No, I'll
man.
be
Because
honest with you,
I'm not the tallest, isn't it? You're like 6
I'll
foot.
be honest with you, Yemi, downward.
You know what I mean, 6 foot brother doing downward facing dog. It just looks funny.
There's
innit?
actually a worse position than downward facing dog. It's called the puppy posture.
I
I
haven't gotten onto that yet.
What are we doing here?
Big
man?
up Adrian, but I'm not there yet.
Big up Adrian. Listen, when you get there, you let me know how that goes.
What's it called?
Puppy posture. You
So-
basically get your elbows on the mat, and then you slide your knees back, and you essentially arch your ass, and without getting too graphic, you feel a breeze. That's what I'll say. You feel
It's
a
good,
breeze.
man. I think it's really useful, man. It's a good
I'm
way
sh-
to like align your chakras
I
and that,
believe
and
you.
just bring that inner peace and that.
I believe you.
And depending on the type of
And
yoga you
working,
do,
it's a good workout too.
exactly. Depending on the type you do, you could do power yoga. That's very much a workout. Trust me.
I'll take your word for it. I'm
There's
never going to
loads
do
of
it.
different types in there. It's like
Mhm.
Kundalini yoga,
Loads.
bare stuff. Kundalini.
Pilates as well, which is basically more
Yeah,
aggressive
yeah.
yoga.
I'll take your man's word for it.
Everyone do yoga. It's good for you. Mohammed, how's your week been?
Alhamdulillah, man. Been chilling, just been busy, just been working. Yeah, just been working, man. It's been non-stop, honestly. It's been non-stop since Christmas.
Always non-stop for you.
I've got annual leave coming up, man. I can't wait. It's just this Christmas period is the busiest period at work. So
Is it still Christmas?
yeah, man. Until the end of Jan, it's pretty much Christmas.
Fair.
It's childish, man. But
Making that
Yeah,
condition though.
we move. So yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
just been working. That's about it, really. I can't lie. Arsenal working. Mudrik's a skit. Apart from that, everything else-
Wow. Yeah, because obviously the last episode you said he was going Arsenal,
I
and
look like a dickhead.
that aged terribly.
Yeah, he's a whore.
Okay.
sket.
Sket and a whore.
Yeah, can't lie. Because everything was agreed. Chelsea came in with something stupid and he got robbed. Or you move.
My advice to you now would be to stop making predictions because they might not always come true. So don't say anything about Saicedo. It might not happen.
Yeah, let me shut my mouth.
There you go.
But if we win the league, block me forever.
Yeah, we might be the end of this podcast. I can't even lie
Cool.
to you.
I cannot wait for that episode. Day. See the day we win the league title. We've
It
got an
might be
episode.
the end.
Fam, oh my god.
That might be the day we fight,
Yeah,
in fairness.
I can't lie. And you might finish 7th that season. Everything's amazing. But let's get it cracking.
I'm not even trying to be in Europa League. But
Yeah, I mean, how's your week been, man?
yeah, it's been good. Very busy. Very much yoga as well. I'm doing the 30-day start of the year series that Yoga of Adrian always does. Shout out to Adrian. I'm on day 25 today. So yeah, always good. Work is work. Yeah, man. Just here. Happy, ready to pod.
Let's do this.
Let's
get
do it.
cracking.
Right. We're gonna start with a topic that
Are you
hopefully
going to
we
ask what we've been listening to?
I mean, we can if you want to.
Yeah, man. What have you guys been listening to?
I've been listening to a lot. I've listened to. I made a list. I listened to Lil Yachty's new album. Let's start here. Now, obviously, Lil Yachty is kind of annoying. Kind of makes annoying music, but this new album was actually really good. It's not like trap or anything like that. It's like essentially Tame Impala-esque psychedelic rock type thing, and it's actually really good musically. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised by that. So shout out to Lil Yachty. Yeah, very, very good. I listened to Sam Smith's new album, Gloria. Good pop slash dance album.
I didn't know you were a Sam Smith fan.
Neither did I.
I'm not really. I listened to their first album when that came out, but since then I haven't really paid attention. But this one, I was like, all right, let me check it out. And you know, it was decent. They can sing really well, and you know, shout out to Sam Smith. And obviously, I'm listening to the GOAT, Ice Spice.
Yeah, we need to get into
you see the way he
Yemi's
looked at me?
infatuation with Ice
EP
Spice,
like.
man.
Did you see the way he looked at me?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, the GOAT, innit? The God, Ice Spice. But yeah, no, you know what it is?
What is it, man?
No, he's about to lie.
Obviously, shout out to Ice Spice. Very great to look at. But also, there's this narrative on Twitter going around that everything she touches turns to gold. And I'm basically just going in on that whole narrative. And it's very fun. There was one tweet, and I think Mo quote tweeted it on the pod page, where they basically said her marketing team deserves a raise. They're making it seem as if she made Illmatic. She dropped Illmatic. I quote tweeted it from the pod saying she did though. And then this guy said, "This is egregious,
bro. It's disgusting." Do you know what he's done?
Everyone's basically comparing her to like all of the greatest rappers to ever do it.
And you're co-signing.
It's just funny. Yeah, for shits and giggles. Yeah.
How many songs has she released?
She released an EP called Like, and that was 5 songs, including Munch, which was like the big one that made her viral, Bikini Bottom, and In Her Mood.
The fact that you know these titles annoy the fuck out of me.
Why?
It's so random.
What, just because I'm hip to the streets?
Is that what you call it?
I mean, that's what it is.
And she dropped the album?
EP.
No.
But before that, I think she dropped maybe another 4 or 5 before Munch dropped. So she's building up a catalogue. She signed to Universal, so they dropped her album.
So the songs that she's released on the EP, have they been received like well?
Yeah, very well. She just makes fun music. It's like a cross between like drill, a little bit of trap. You know, it's good, enjoyable. Like for the girls, I imagine it's like booty shaking music, and for the man, them sometimes you can just bop your head.
All right.
So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Well, thank you to our Ice Spice correspondent.
Thank you.
Now to Mohammed.
Catch up with you in about 2 weeks. Me, I've been easy. Honestly, I ain't been listening to anything too different. I've been listening to the person I quoted on today's music, that Somali artist, Kwali, just because I found him on GRM Daily.
Okay.
I was like, all right, let me check him out, and then I enjoyed it. But besides that, it's been very much. I went back to retrospective because why not? Greatest rapper in the UK ever. I just been keeping it easy this week. I ain't listened to too much. Honestly, it's been an easy week for music to me.
Okay.
It's been busy, man. What about you?
I ain't been listening to too much either, to be honest with you, man. I listened to on my way I was listening to Faith Evans' first album. I've been listening to Marvin Gaye had an album called Trouble Man, which is like a soundtrack to a blaxploitation film. Been checking that out, and a bit of J. Paul.
Oh.
Yeah. Went back to his leaked album. And yeah, just been vibing to that.
It's been an easy week for you.
That's it, man.
I didn't know you liked J. Paul.
Of course you did.
Did I?
Yeah. Because when you worked at Excel, I was asking you to, like, you know,
He was.
Oh, right.
send me some songs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, steal some songs and let me hear them.
So still.
Yeah, still.
Risk your job.
Yeah.
The game's the game.
The game's the game.
The game's the game.
That would have been a sackable offence if anything went wrong that flipping campaign.
I still remember the stress you had when they were uploading that thing.
The flipping champ. It was the Champions League final as well.
Oh,
I couldn't
yeah,
I couldn't even
that.
enjoy that in peace. But yeah, shout out to them, man. Shout out to J. Paul. He's a nice guy though. It's just very delicate. I'll leave it at that.
Him and his brother, very talented. I think Ak Paul, very
AK.
talented. AK Paul, yeah, very talented.
Well, you'd like the Paul Institute.
Yeah, I've checked out. There's an artist called Ruth Venn, I think his
Ruthen,
name
yeah.
is. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah,
And there's a girl
Ruthen.
called, I can't remember, same as Palladino. So I don't know if
Yeah.
she's related to Pino Palladino and his brother as well, or his son as well. So yeah, dope artists underneath that umbrella.
Feel you. Cool.
Salute
Alright
to all
then.
of them.
Salute to all of them. Yeah, for sure. Right, we're going to move on to the first topic now. I'll let Peter kick this one off.
Randomly, I was just thinking about like Jay-Z's catalog. I was thinking about his 90s releases and his 2000 releases, and I was just comparing them to each other in my head. And then it kind of just took me down this like rabbit hole of what happens to artists the longer that they release albums for. So I was thinking to myself, like, can longevity be a gift or a curse or both? In a sense where the longer you release albums, the more chance you have of falling off and releasing whack albums, as opposed to having a shorter catalogue and having like a smaller window to release like whack albums or great albums. And I guess I just wanted us to explore longevity. Reactors.
Yeah, I feel like with longevity, especially if you are someone like a Jay-Z who has quite a good catalogue.
He's got like 13 solo albums. He's got a group album, and he's got
a couple collaborations.
Yeah, he's got like 3 collaboration albums.
3?
Yeah. He's got one with Linkin Park, which you can count.
One with
he's got a couple
who should not
with
be named.
The Aura.
Who should not be named.
Robert Kelly.
A.K.A. Robert Kelly.
Robert Kelly.
Voldemort. And then the third is with he who should not be named as well.
Kanye West.
Yes. Kanye or Mari West.
Mm.
Yeah, I think with artists that have big catalogues, especially when they've got a couple classics littered in there, a couple really solid, like critically acclaimed albums in there, they're always going to have that pressure to supersede whatever the last thing was or keep at a standard. That can either hamper their creativity or they could embrace it. I think the sheer act of being able to release albums for about 15 years straight, 16 years straight, no matter how good they are, is a great sign. I think it shows that not only are you, the artist, hungry to continue providing material for your fans and the wider world, but it shows that you're not really fazed by any kind of criticism when it comes to how you make the albums or how they are executed or how they come out. So I think anybody who has such a massive discography, I think of people like Jay-Z, Eminem, Redman, MF Doom before he passed, and people like that. Yeah, man, you have to be applauded. You have to be applauded for it. Is it a gift and a curse? I think it's a gift when
it works.
Yeah, it's a gift when it works, and I suppose by that you mean if you continue to drop quality work, right?
Yeah, because I could give you a gift and a curse for 2 people. That longevity essentially went both ways for them. Well, not both ways.
I mean, both of the names he mentioned.
That's what I was just
about to say.
Eminem's a perfect example.
And Redman.
Yeah, but Eminem to a T. Because Eminem in their first 3 albums was looked at as he still looked at as one of the best ever. But the dramatic fall off from 2003 to 2023. Stop laughing, you man. This is a serious point. But like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you look at Jay-Z, Jay-Z's longevity has played a part into where he is now. Nas's longevity, the last 3 albums, I think in us, longevity is what defines. That's when the conversation comes down to greatest of all time, depending on how your longevity is played out.
But wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question though. What do you class as longevity? How many albums are you giving them? Because
is it albums or years?
Okay, you answer that for you.
For me,
yeah,
it's albums, but it's also within how many years. Because if someone's dropped, let's just say 3 albums in 7 years, versus someone that's dropped 6 in 12, I'm always gonna take that 6 in 12. Do you get what I'm saying? Because over a longer time span with more albums, you show me you're a lot better. To me, it's I'll go years. I'll go years, depending on how long you've been spitting for, but the quality of work you're also making. So I think it goes hand in hand with me. I think for the years to be there, you also need your albums to be there. Because you could be a cold rapper, but then if your body of work isn't holding up 15 years down the line, no one's going to really care like that.
Yeah, because I think similar to, what you've just said, man, like with Eminem and Redman specifically, the longer that they went on, the more time they allowed for them to drop mediocre albums, and they did. But I feel like, particularly with Redman, I think after his like first 3 or 4 albums, he had enough grace to where it didn't even really matter what he dropped after that. So I think that's an interesting way of how you count consistency and longevity as well, because you can build up that credit to where it doesn't even really matter. You can still be looked at as a great artist, even if you know, you're in the game for like 20 years, you got 4 amazing albums, and then you got 6 or 7 albums that weren't amazing.
Which is Eminem to a T.
Mm.
And that's why he's still held up in such a regard, because the first 3 albums, the sheer quality of all of them means that he can afford to drop duds every now and again. Same thing with Ye. Jay's dropped a couple. I mean, Lil B's been dropping 5 mixtapes a year since about 2007.
Have you listened to any of them?
That's what I'm going to say. Does
I've
anyone-
listened to a few, well, not a few, but I've listened to like 1 or 2. I listened to I'm Gay, I'm Happy. And listen, Lil B, when I have him in doses, can be enjoyable, but I'm not going to listen to like a lot of him just because I don't like the way he raps necessarily. But you could call that longevity.
I didn't even know Lil B was a rapper. For real, for real.
He's a rapper.
I knew he was a rapper, but
He follows me on Twitter as well.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I thought he followed the whole world.
He does. He does. Me included.
He's like Elliot Wilson.
Facts. You don't follow us though.
Follows
Shout out
me.
Elliot Wilson.
He follows me.
I mean, use your connects. But yeah, I mean, I think I agree 100%. I think the fact of having so much credit in the bank does help a lot, especially when we're talking about like rappers who are on a certain level of like visibility. So even if Nas, for example, doesn't drop King's Disease 1, 2, Magic, and 3, I don't think it necessarily matters for
It matters. It
You think
matters.
I don't
It
know,
matters.
You
man.
think no? Has the
It matters, man.
can I just-
Particularly, and I'm glad you brought up
Oh,
Nasir.
boy.
I'm so happy you brought up
Now-
Nasir because I was looking at his
This is
his
what,
discography the other day, bro, and I was like looking through it before the King's Diseases and that, and he weren't in that conversation with artists that have amazing discographies. It's only now, since he did the King Disease up until the most recent King Disease, where you're looking at his discography a bit differently, and it's because of how solid those albums were. We can even ignore the preposterous Nostradamus. And I'm not even going to gun that I am really, because I think over time it's gotten a bit better, innit?
I still maintain it.
Or we can overlook Nostradamus, and
Decent.
we can
Yeah.
overlook
No, we
Street's
overlook it.
Disciples.
yeah.
You can overlook a couple albums.
We can overlook Hip Hop
because
Is
of the
Dead.
greatness that he's dropped in the last like few years. And that's a perfect example where longevity works in your favor. But it doesn't always work in your favor.
But my
But did
caveat
it
to that
change?
is-
Sorry, can I just ask? Before King's Disease 1, did that change where you rank Nas?
No, because my criteria is different.
So,
innit?
but the longevity play a factor on him then, if he still ranked where you was always going to rank him, even though
Yeah.
his longevity played.
Yeah, I think so. I think for Nas specifically, he just wasn't someone that I placed his catalog weren't in the conversation for me, really.
but he was.
But because of Illmatic,
Exactly.
it was written, Stillmatic, Godson, and his penmanship, he was going to be where he was for me.
So basically, you've named 4 albums. That is a lot of credit, especially from one of them is arguably the greatest hip hop album ever.
Yeah.
So I guess you could apply the same logic of having credit in the bank that we give to Redman and Eminem to Nas, because he has done a lot, not just for like the genre, but the culture sort of thing. To the point where you can maybe overlook some of the duds in his discography. I only really count Nostradamus, Street Disciple, and Hip Hop Is Dead as duds.
You thought hip hop was a dud?
I didn't really like it.
I didn't
Oh,
like it.
damn.
I didn't really like it. I didn't really like
I thought that was a
Untitled,
really
to be
good
fair.
one.
I didn't really
For
like
real?
Untitled, to be fair. But yeah, and I
I didn't
really
like
like it.
Untitled either.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. It sounded dated. And just the message generally. I just, but
And they say Jay Electronica wrote it as well. So
We're not
and
about to-
Dead Press.
Come on, now stop this. We're not about to do.
I was talking about Hip Hop Is Dead.
Oh,
We're
no,
not about
Untitled.
to do. I thought you
No,
were Untitled.
Untitled.
I thought you were Untitled.
Yeah.
We're not to do.
Any chance you get to mention that as well?
What do you mean?
You
How many
mention that all
times
the
have I
time.
mentioned
Every time we
that?
mention
You do.
Untitled, every time we mention Untitled, you mention it every
You
time.
do that all the time, even in
You know
the group
what
chat.
I'm
All I'm saying is
even in the
Jigga's
group
never
chat.
had no,
We say no
alleged.
rumors. No.
you know what I mean, ghostwriting rumors around him.
I mean, it's all in his head, no?
Allegedly.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very much a gift, is it?
Mm.
I mean, if we're going to talk about the curse element of it, I mean, I guess you'd have to be like really consistently really bad. Because Mo, you always say, like, especially with Eminem, if he keeps dropping whack albums, the other classics aren't going to matter.
No, that's why the longevity is perfect.
That's
to me.
unfair.
But to me, at some point, we've got to look at if you was good for 3 years, but you've had a 26-year career. Surely we have to say, yeah, all right, them 3 years you won Ballon d'Or, but there was 22 years in between.
But those 3 years could be so impactful.
Yeah, so we don't take away from it.
Because that's what they were saying about Nas. When Nas
But
dropped...
Nas didn't drop this much.
What did Jay say? That's one hot
But
album
then-
every 10
But
years.
then the problem is Nas was still spitting.
It was a lie, by the way.
Eminem. But then the problem is Nas's actual Nas rapping always had Nas in that stratosphere.
Yeah, but bro,
We're talking about Eminem. Eminem was the last since 2003 had something
Fam,
rapping like that.
bro, you can't do that, bro.
How?
Because you can use that example for every lyrical rapper that was out there. If the album,
No, Nas was always treated that
but if
special case.
but if the albums don't back up the lyrical skill, then
The
what does
problem
it
is,
matter?
but then Nas was always to me that just special case because of Illmatic, because of what he's given us. I say take Nas out of it. Give me any other rapper that's been whacked for that
Bro.
long that we haven't
based
slandered.
based
Am I
on
wrong?
what
Nas
I've
was the only one we allowed. Not even saying we allowed because he didn't.
bro,
Not
based,
to the level of Eminem's horrendous albums.
based on like magazines I've read, conversations I've had with people that were older than me, they all said to me that after it was written, it was looking very shaky.
Oh,
for
swear.
Nas. Yes.
No, but I heard that as well. Though.
It was looking very shaky for Nas. So had he not come back and did what he did, I don't think we would be looking at him in the way that we look at him now.
Aye, that's fair, but he did
You know
what
what
he
I'm
did. Aye, but he did what he did.
But
so
he did what he
So
did.
he wins the longevity award.
Cool.
Not Eminem. It's played. You can't tell me his longevity. The fact it hasn't gone against him. Him rapping after 2003 has gone fully against him to me. It's a complete curse
To who though?
to the wider audience because now he's dropped out of wherever
I
he was
disagree.
ranking. I think to rap fans. If you would have asked rap fans,
but bro, you know the
I
Eminem
think if you would-
conversations, it's an interesting one.
I think
huh?
if you would have asked rap fans, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. at
That's
all.
cool.
I think if you asked rap fans after 2003, where's Eminem in your top whatever of all time, and you ask people now in 2023, you can't tell me because of his longevity he hasn't fallen off a few spots.
Yeah.
That's
But that's not the only reason though, bro.
What's the
I
other
feel
reason?
like
that hibbity hubbard with the way he raps.
it ain't even that.
Sorry.
Nah, bro.
Why you say sorry to me?
I just have to get it.
I'm not a spokesperson for Eminem.
No, but the way he raps pisses me off sometimes.
It's not
I can't
even
lie.
that, bro. I feel like as a community and as a culture, because we've become a lot more woke,
We don't like
that changed the way a lot of people were looking at him. If we keep it real, because I think up until I don't even know what year it is, but like there was a period of time where like Eminem weren't really ever being criticized like that. It wasn't until a certain point it started being looked at as corny to be an Eminem fan.
There's a lot of revisionism.
And I think he got sucked
There's
into.
a- no, no,
he
There's,
he
a
got,
lot, there's a lot of revisionism
You
when
feel
it
me?
comes to Eminem. I'm now hearing
agree.
people say, well, you know, he was talking about kidnapping his mum, and I didn't really feel him at the time. Well, we were all vibing
You're
to
lying.
Eminem at the time.
Facts.
We was all
Lord
massive.
Jamar.
No, we was all massive Eminem fans.
Facts.
And Eminem's still one of the nicest.
Mm.
But I do agree with you in terms of revisionist history because
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
think a lot of people now look back and just kind of change their mind. I'm never going to do that. I was a massive Eminem fan. I'm just saying, depending on how long your career's been and depending on what you've been dropping,
But there's,
You're right,
bro,
for
there are
people to look at
numerous examples of like artists that were great in their time, and they've got like decent sized catalogs that weren't amazing, but we don't even acknowledge the whack albums. DMX, perfect example.
KRS-One.
Because after
Yeah, that's
like after the third album, bro,
was- it was-
people
it
don't
was-
really
it
talk
was-
about the rest. Nobody remembers the Great Depression.
no one remembers.
No one remembers Grand
Yeah.
Champ. I'm probably the only one that can reference these.
Say Grand Trap with the dog.
I
the
remember
dog
that.
cover,
see?
the dog cover. The,
See?
I remember the word.
Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood
I
at?
remember that video.
What, where the hood at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
Bear
do it.
dogs. Just remember bear dogs.
Do you know what I'm
In the
saying?
prison,
So
innit?
Yeah.
Them
no,
lyrics are
you're
mad
right
in
though.
2023.
You're right though. I think, and again, it goes back to the grace that they're given because they dropped, especially in the case of DMX, the fact he dropped 2 number 1 albums in the same year, and then dropped what was the one after that,
and then there was X.
and then there was
There
X.
was X.
Like those are 3 amazing albums for what they did to the culture.
And it's
We
also
could say the same about KRS-One. He had Boogie Down Productions, then he had Return of the Boom Bap, the self-titled album as well. So that's like a lot of credit. So it doesn't even matter what he's doing outside of anything. And musically, obviously, there probably aren't as many people from our generation checking for KRS-One, but for the people that he impacted, they're always going to have him as their champ sort of thing.
Can I
So-
ask you a question? Is the longevity curse going to hit Drake?
Nah, I don't think so. Way too much. He's done way too much. He's done way too
Not
much.
as in knock him off, but like, do you reckon the longer he goes? Because I feel like the
You mean
longer,
change how we look at him?
yeah,
It could. It could, because I listen to old Drake songs and I feel like this hasn't aged well.
oh for real.
Yeah. So the longer he raps, releases music, of course there's every chance.
Because
that
he
that
still
could
is very
happen.
current. to what's
especially
current.
if it's not at a great level. Of course. But then there are also instances where you haven't released that many albums and that's worked in your favor and against you.
I think it works perfect for Kendrick.
Perfect example. He's like, yeah, he's got about 5 albums and
He's
they're all great.
He's got
But that's like, no one does that though. That's like, there are no other examples of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he's dropped 4, innit? Yeah.
Back to back to back that are considered great albums by like the public. We don't have many artists like that.
Yeah, he's on the number.
You got Outkast that drops like 5 albums. No one really like checks for Idlewild.
I mean, Mighty O was a banger, but I feel you.
Kanye's first 5.
Huh?
Kanye's first 5 was looked like that.
Do you know what I mean? To the point where you don't even really think about the next.
Tribe as well.
What, Kanye's next 5?
Yeah.
I don't think about Kanye's next 5 a day in my life.
Fair.
Tribes, after
Tribe.
Midnight Marauders, you started thinking it's a bit shaky. It's only now people go back and like, oh shit, this weren't that bad. But at the time,
Which is wild. Even for that at the time.
yeah, they weren't messing with Dilla like that, man.
Or Consequence.
Yeah, they weren't.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I don't fuck with Consequence either.
Why don't you fuck with Consequence?
I don't know.
He's actually a good rapper.
Yeah.
Shout out to Consequence.
Something to Consequence.
But yeah, I agree. I think, especially during those times, the 90s and stuff, I think the album cycle generally was you drop your album every year, and a lot of people worked that to their favor. A lot of people weren't able to keep up. I think when we think of people like De La Soul and Tribe and Outkast and groups generally, they tend to have a little bit more longevity in themselves just because of the way they're made up. When it comes to solo artists, it's probably a little bit more difficult. Unless you do have, let's say if you drop like consistently good albums, but you don't necessarily have a classic, you don't necessarily have like a whack album, pretty solid discography. You could argue that's like maintaining longevity because you're maintaining quality and...
It's like maintaining a B minus throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example.
I think underground rappers do that really well.
Yeah.
They don't have the pressure of, the label asking them to do certain things. So they can just do what they want creatively.
Underground, yeah.
Which means that I feel like they, as far as larger catalogs, they probably have way more consistent releases as far as quality.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? So,
someone like LP,
Rock Marcy,
yeah.
Matt Commy's got like 30 albums.
It's hard to keep up.
Do you know what I mean? Droog.
Yeah. Because again, like you said, they're not restricted by anything and they can just creatively, they can just do a lot more. And I think there's a little bit more grace just in terms of their fans who understand that they're not going to go the same path necessarily as like the last album, but they're going to enjoy it regardless.
Yeah.
So I think there's less pressure on the underground artists as there would be the mainstream where you are expected to follow a certain sound or whatever. So there's that as well. Underground artists probably in that regard have it a lot easier. They're just able to explore a lot more.
Yeah, they can do what they want.
Yeah.
They've got the freedom of kind of choosing their own destiny.
So what would you prefer? Shorter catalogue with better albums or a longer one with more whack than good? But you still have multiple good.
But how many good? What's the good saying?
So if you drop like 10 albums, 6 are good.
And 4
Like
classics.
4 are whack.
What, do I have any classics in there?
Got a couple classics.
If you give me 4 classics, say if you give me 6 albums, 4 classics, 2 alright, 4 whack over 15 years versus...
That's very good.
Versus a 7-year run, 3 classics, but the rest are all good. Taking the other one.
Really?
Yeah, because longer time I've been doing it for longer, I've been spitting for longer, the consistency I've been showing you over a longer period. But it's a tricky one because Lauren's got 1 and she's looked at it as GOAT female.
But she got the Fugees as well. She got the score.
True.
So she got 2 classics really.
Yeah.
So, but that's more than enough credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Miseducation alone, that is more than enough credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, but as in we give it to her with just the 1 and let's push this.
Is that fair though?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking you guys.
No, I'm just talking generally. Even if,
You mean how she's ranked?
No, I'm just talking about artists generally. If you're an artist who has 10 albums, let's say 2 of them are classic, 3 of them are good, 2 are shaky, and then the other 2 or 3 are trash. Is it fair for us to just continually be like, well, he dropped these classics, so it's okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
Because the impact might be so much to where it doesn't even really matter.
And if you drop 10 albums, I don't expect someone to shoot 100%.
And also, bro, like artists, man, they're artists for a reason, right? They want to experiment, try new things. They're growing in real life, so they're becoming different people. That's going to affect the art they're making. There needs to be scope for that, which may mean that they do some whack shit.
You got to let them. Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying?
Only person that hasn't let me down yet is...
Who told Jay-Z to go and do Linkin Park?
He felt in his soul.
Nonsense. Who told him to go and do that shit, bruv?
Or the best of all fours.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was... Anyway. he was a bit of a vulture with them, man, but, we move.
So what would you say to someone like a 50? How would you...
You had a phenomenal... Yo, that one album...
Because his run was short.
Bro,
but deep it.
But his run was... Massacre too.
But his run was more powerful than...
And Curtis,
90% of people in their prime. 50's peak. He's arguably
Are we counting mixtape 50 as well? Or
Nah,
just albums?
Nah.
albums, just albums.
that Get Rich.
Then I give him up to Curtis.
Nah.
I give
No,
him-
just as far as dominating.
No, actually, no, because he had thinking Curtis.
I don't feel like he was dominating when he
nah,
dropped Curtis,
bro,
though.
Wasn't that Have a Baby by
definitely
B?
Wasn't that when
that was on
him and
Curtis.
Kanye did the head-to-head?
But the only reason why they could is because he was dominating.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
No, he was
true.
definitely
I
above
would
for
say.
Curtis.
I'd give that to him.
Because it was before I Self-Destructed is when it went all finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I Self-Destructed is when he self-destructed.
Because, obviously the Massacre is a drop-off, but it was still a big album.
Yeah. But his peak, that Get Rich, he was...
And Curtis still sold, I know he got outsold by Graduation, but it still sold
Which it should have done.
500,000 in his first week or something like that?
Easy.
So it sounds like artists can't really win. Because it's either they have a long career where they drop lots of albums, include having whack shit, or they drop small amount of albums, small catalogue, and less room for massive critique over a longer period.
Yeah.
They can't really win because if they do the former, they might be criticised for not releasing enough albums. If they do the...
No,
Do you know
but
what I
it
mean?
matters on the ratio on the other one. Your ratio comes into it in the other one. The longer your career is, you're also... If you've been dropping whack albums, it depends on how long you've been dropping whack albums and how recent. Do you know what I mean?
So if you drop 5 albums,
Yeah.
and you got like 2 great albums,
Yeah.
and the rest are a bit, I think people will still argue that we need more music because for someone like
That's
Andre,
J. Cole.
because someone like Andre 3000, there shouldn't really be a conversation around. We need a solo.
But that's different.
I personally don't think so because he's done enough, bro. What more?
No, I hear that.
Do you feel what I'm saying? Even
I
someone
hear-
like a Mos Def, who was that's the person I was thinking about when I was like raising that point, because he's got 4 solo albums, I think.
Yeah.
He's got Black on Both Sides, the new
Danger,
Danger,
True Magic.
True Magic, and then
Ass.
The Aesthetic, and then he's got
He's got
2 Black Star albums.
Yeah.
Exactly. So from a solo perspective,
Decent enough.
you might still want more music from him.
And the urban thermodynamics
Only you can reference that.
with
'cause-
his siblings.
Swear.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Urban thermodynamics is a
Probably-
horrible name.
I had
don't
no
know
idea.
I don't know what they were thinking
Probably,
there,
yeah,
brother.
I had no
I don't
idea.
know what they were thinking. Shout out to Yassine, but my
But yeah, I get what you
gosh.
mean.
Do you know what I'm
Because
saying?
it can.
Thermodynamics.
He's
Sorry.
still going.
Sorry. No, I hear it though. I think I do understand that. I think it kind of depends on the type of artist you are though. Because if you're like a kind of more commercial leaning artist, let's just take Drake for example. He's continuously dropping albums because he doesn't want to be left out of the loop of just the zeitgeist and popular culture.
You think that's the reason?
Yes.
Yes. Well, partly.
The
I
main
think
one.
it's because he still wants to remain in the conversation. So someone like that is going to continue to be consistent. And I put inverted commas because I don't think Drake is consistent. But consistent in terms of album releasing and releasing projects. But if you're someone like a Free Stacks or a Mos Def who is a little bit more artistic,
You're right with
that's
Goldstein.
going to take a bit more time for that to manifest musically.
True.
So I think it just really just depends on whether you're kind of more commercial leaning, less commercial leaning, underground. So yeah, while I agree that some artists can't win, some artists also put themselves in a box where they can't really get out of it.
How so?
Well, if you're someone like Drake who continues to make music that is of the times, just in terms of like sonically, you're going to continue to try and find that next sound and continue to release albums
to keep up with it.
and projects to keep up with that.
And then all that's going to happen is that sound's going to go out of style. And then you listen to it now and it's like, oh shit, this didn't age well. Like
Yeah.
Pop That at the time was amazing.
Mm.
Listen to Pop, still let Pop That, don't get me wrong. But it's not got the same feeling as it did 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So-
Absolutely.
I think we can pose the argument both ways. There are numerous artists where longevity, releasing bare albums has worked for them, and then there's been someone that hasn't been so kind to him.
Got any examples?
Where it has been kind to him.
Where it hasn't.
Besides
Besides Eminem.
because it's been horrendous.
And by longevity, we're talking about like a 10-year plus career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's 5 albums in a 10-year plus career?
I know someone actually that he might
One
work
every 2
against.
Hmm?
I know someone that's starting to work against.
Who?
The Game.
Nah, I disagree. He's
I
still
think-
dropping good albums.
I didn't like his last album.
It was good.
I didn't
For
like
me.
the
Drillmatic.
documentary. The Drill
It was too long, but it
And
was
I
good.
listened to documentary 2.5 or 2.
That was way too long.
I was like 50. I didn't like it. I didn't get through the whole thing. But I feel like, because if you look at his first 3 albums, or his first 4, first 5 even, what do you have? Jesus Peace, Red,
Yeah.
Dots of the Advocate, LAX, documentary.
Mm.
That's a solid 5 albums for me.
It's a good
That's
run.
a solid 5 albums.
It's a good run.
Post that to me, it's looking shaky, baby.
I mean,
Jesus Peace.
I did Jesus Peace. and Red. Jesus
Red,
Peace,
okay.
Red, LAX, Dr. Advocate documentary. That's 5. Then he's got,
was that his first 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I think,
a solid 5.
For me, Ghostface, man. You man know I love Ghostface. One of my favorite rappers ever, bro. But after Fish Scale, the quality started dropping, man. And
Bro.
he's released bare since Fish Scale. He's dropped like the Pretty Tony album, Big Doe Rehab. He's done 12 Reasons to Die. He's had bare albums, but the quality hasn't. It started dipping from then. That's a perfect example of where, you know what I mean, it starts tailing off a bit.
You could put a few of them Wu-Tang brothers in there, bruv.
Yeah, you
Like
can't.
who?
Raekwon.
Your face changed, by the way.
Raekwon ain't got that many albums. He's got like 4 or 5.
He's got the longevity though. And really and truly, you're not really checking for anyone that isn't named Only Built for Cuban Links. Part 1 or 2. Meth, I mean, he never really got started.
Sorry.
Respectfully.
I laugh so loud in the headphones.
I mean, yeah, Takao, Blackout, cool. But, RZA, I mean, gosh. I used to love his first solo album, Bobby Digital and Stereo, and now it's
Good
just
grief.
Yeah, nah.
You said good grief.
Good grief.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Jizza.
a couple of them. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
Jizza. I'm gonna be real. I ain't listen to anything post Liquid Swords. Big up Jizza though. That's my guy. But yeah, I think a lot of those Wu-Tang brothers suffer from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as like examples, the way it's worked for them,
Buster. Common for me, it's worked for Jay, Nas, The Roots, Scarface. Bro, these are all people that have dropped like 10 plus albums and the quality's like there more often than not. Do you know what I mean? So it can work. I still would rather 5, 6 albums and then chill. Like if I was a rapper, I would probably do like maybe like an Outkast type thing, Kendrick type thing, and then I'll probably just bow out.
So basically an album every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
but you'll be dropping
then
consistently.
I'll be done.
You won't go ghost.
Bro, what? You think I'll drop 10 albums? I'm not dropping 10
you
albums.
See you the way. No, you.
Yeah.
Nah, you're dropping
Why?
10. You.
Why you say that?
Cause you got a new feeling every other year. You're dropping crazy. This brother here, wallahi, he don't drop a crazy. What's the over? You know what his over and under start at? 11 albums, bro. That's what his over and under start.
You know what it is? He'll make one big album. Each song will be named whatever he's feeling on that particular day.
But that's what I'm saying. This is Peter we're talking about.
Listen, man.
Are you crazy?
It's important to feel things. You know?
That's the name of the album.
And to express
That's the
them.
name of the album.
That's the name of the album.
That's the name of the album.
Yeah, but there are different ways to express.
See, yeah, that's the name of
So
the
music
second one.
might not be,
That's the name of the
that
second
form.
one. What
You know what I mean? There are multiple ways to express things, man.
Hey, man. I think you personally, if you was an artist, and listen, you're my guy, I don't think you will stop making albums until wallahi your pension age.
I mean, one of is.
Nah, you're bugging. No way.
Not in a bad way. I'm not saying the music will fall off, but you're making
I just
music.
think every album will explore his interest. Like,
That's my point.
It'll be like cosmic funk,
Cosmic
it'll be
funk.
modal jazz.
Modal jazz.
You know what I'm saying? Bit of Afro beats.
Bit of Afro
You know what I
beats.
mean? Like avant-garde Afro beats.
There
with
we
like
go.
live instrumentation.
I'm
all
a
that-
piano
all that-
depending on where he
all
wants
that
to take
shit.
it.
Yeah,
I'm a piano
yeah.
potential.
New age, it'll be a whole thing.
Or this guy here. This
You
guy's
man are
dropping
bugging.
crazy.
It'd be a whole
Inside his
thing.
first 16 years,
It'd be in
he's
his
dropping 10
Coltrane bag,
albums.
it'd be in his Prince bag, his Sun Ra bag, his Free Stacks
Say
bag,
Coltrane bag.
his Marvin Gaye bag, his D'Angelo bag, his Pino Palladino bag, his Aquarius bag,
Yo, Pino
his
Palladino.
Bilal bag.
Pino Palladino is
Need I go on?
no.
Nah.
Alright, cool. Well, shout out to all the rappers with longevity. I mean, there's a few of them, to be fair.
No, a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Like, just to be able to make a career off of rap where you're dropping consistent albums and just being able to, and they're being received in any sort of way, you got to applaud that, man.
We're there now with Cole and Kendrick and Drake, innit?
Yeah. And they're gonna last the test of time.
Cole's
Two
a
of them.
unique example where having a small amount of albums and still having more media albums and not is a very interesting, but still being propelled to a level where he's seen as a great. Only Cole can pull that off.
No, Cole deserves it.
I think
There's no other rapper in history
Cole
that
does-
has 5 or 6 albums, 4 of which you're a bit like,
I don't think four.
and we still rate him as a great.
think
No
four-
one else.
But I
does.
also think
Four's not
mixtape-
Of course they are.
No, they're not.
The first album was there.
First one, Cole.
Second
wait,
one
hold
was
on,
there.
hold on. Cole.
Was
Silent-
third one
Let me-
Forest Hill Drive.
Let me land. Cole Wall signed that story. I'll give you that.
Meh.
Meh.
Right.
Born Sinner.
Wasn't great.
We're not about to do that. Born
Wasn't
Sinner.
great.
Weren't great.
Opinions. I think Born Sinner was wavy. 2014 Forest Hills.
Nah, I didn't.
I
was
think
alright.
I think that was wavy as well.
Okay.
So to me, he's got 2-1 right now. And to you,
Meh.
all 3 are whack and 3.
No,
to you.
no. Forest Hill
Yeah,
Drive is
I
good.
got 3 mares.
You got 3 Mers
I got 2 mess.
and 1 alright.
Yeah.
And I got 2 good. And then you've got
Off season.
not even off season. Then you've got
For
For your eyes only. Nah.
KOD.
Nah.
And then you
I
got off
actually
season.
like that.
Yeah.
See?
That's 2 albums, bro.
I've got two.
I've got 3 good albums.
I got 2.
But that's out of 5, right?
I've got 3 out of 5.
No.
I got KOD and
That's where we disagree though. Because I'm a Cole fan. 3 out of 5 to me. I think Born Sinners. I genuinely think Born Sinners.
But you're not an objective Cole fan.
Yes,
though.
I
You're
am.
a stan. You're a Cole stan.
A stan will tell you KOD's wavy. A stan will tell you For Your Eyes Only's wavy.
Bro,
Like,
every
what are we
other
doing
person
here?
that I've spoken to about J. Cole is saying exactly what I'm saying.
I think mixtape Cole very much dominates this thinking.
No, Friday Night Lights is a phenomenal.
I think mixtape Cole kind of
I'm not
muddies the
talking- we
water.
weren't including mixtapes.
No,
We're
I
talking
know,
about
but
albums.
the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like people take what they felt about mixtape Cole into album Cole, even if the albums aren't that great, and that's why
No.
he's still held up to this level.
Born Sinners is a good album.
It's a meh album.
We've
It has
got
good moments.
No, man, Born Sinners. No, what? Born Sinners got back to me. Illuminati, rich niggas.
I'm not about to
Trouble.
argue with your preference in music, innit?
Yeah,
But based on like, I'm an objective Cole fan. I wasn't to begin with. I used to love Cole, and then he gave me reason not to. So now I'm an objective Cole fan. Based on me speaking to other objective Cole fans, they echo similar sort of sentiments. That's so.
How am I not objective?
I just don't think you are. I think whoever your favourites are, you can't be truthful about.
But then, would
their
I then,
greatness
would
or
I,
not,
would
or
I,
lack of.
would I not then say
So you did that.
KOD? Would I not then say KOD and For Your Eyes Only's good albums?
You're still giving them more credit than
I think
not.
they're truly horrendous.
Okay, cool.
Like everyone knows that. I don't have a single song For Your Eyes Only
Okay,
on my
good.
playlist. I think it's
It's
legit.
good, man. Free the realness.
No, them 12 have. I've been. Yeah, me back me on this. Have I not been saying they're horrendously whack for a long time?
Which ones?
The 2 KOD and we've argued KOD, me and you. I think KOD's whack.
Yeah.
I hate that. Count it
Alright,
up. Count
it's
it up.
fine.
I don't like it.
Okay,
But he's
I'll
got
take back some of what I said.
No, but to me, he's got 3 solid albums. Hear the way I said that with him? Solid.
That's not good enough, bro.
Well, if
But
the next one,
Where am I putting J. Cole though? I'm not. J. Cole's not in my top 5.
I'm not necessarily aiming this
Oh,
at you.
I feel like you are. Sorry.
if the next one,
Coming
if
back.
the fall off is at the same level as the off season, we're gonna start looking at J Cole differently.
Yes, we damn.
He
sure
might
are.
pull a Nas where you know what I mean. He drops like 4 albums that are really cold,
And then we're changing everything.
and then the conversation around his discog is different.
Then it's
Yeah.
Bear Man come outside.
Question for you, man. Though, how do we measure longevity in the UK? Because we don't have that many artists that have dropped like more than 5 albums.
Yeah, but that's because we're so.
I think that's when albums aren't the only factor.
Mm.
When you just
Yeah.
think of like someone like Skepta, for instance, he was a DJ, and then he's been MCing since 05, more or less, and he's still around. Mixtapes, albums, moments, awards. I think you got to take in the totality of what they've done when it comes to the UK, because again, like you say, we're still getting used to dropping albums here.
Yeah, I think because of how young we are in terms of the UK music scene, we've got to judge longevity on the people that we've seen just visually for the
So we
longest.
can't have the conversation around longevity just yet.
We can, but just not if we're basing on albums.
Okay, so we have to
Like,
include mixtapes. And
Yeah,
stuff.
mixtapes. And I
Yeah.
think just them on how long they've been. I don't want to say outside, so to speak, but like
No, but it's true.
how
Though.
long they've been outside.
It's true
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Because all of the greats here have been outside for a long ass time, at least 15 years, 15,
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
And you got to congratulate that. No matter what they've been doing, whatever medium that's taken, the fact that they're still here and they're making money off music still, yeah, you got to commend it.
Yeah, you have to give it to them. Just the fact that, because if you think about the people that we put at the top, the majority of people that have been here the longest, the Kano,
So the
Skeptas.
longevity here isn't about releases; it's about presence.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say so, yeah.
I'll say so.
Alright,
as well.
cool.
I think that's one of the only measurable aspects of our longevity here.
Hmm.
Because again, other than Izzy and Kano, no one was really dropping albums until very recently.
Hmm.
So it's like, well, actually not Skepta as well.
Wiley too.
And Wiley as well.
But then I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I think the discourse is now going to change though, because we are seeing albums here.
Yeah.
In terms of Hush just dropped to me 2 classics in a row. Dave's got his albums. Sims is doing what Sims does.
Yeah.
It's starting to change here with albums as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the conversation we're going to have in the next decade and 2, it is starting to going to be, oh shit,
Hmm.
this guy's dropped
and those
albums.
guys are going to have longevity.
And those guys are going to have longevity.
Hmm.
And then Skepta and them not become KRS1. And then we're full cycle.
You reckon they'll ever become that?
Yeah, to the kids they are now. If you ask an 18-year-old now, oh, yo, what do you think
True,
of? What do you think of Ghetts? What do you think of Rich? What do you
Yeah,
think of
they're probably
Kano?
like RD and H.
Bro,
and
this is a
them
true
others.
story at work. It was me, my guy Ola, and one guy called Cass and Sanj. And we was talking about Kano. And then, yeah, I think Ola must have said one of his bar, like, you remember the Wiley, I ain't scared of K8, no, whatever. And then one of the guys goes, I swear Kano Sully from Topway. Tell me how the discourse hasn't changed.
Mm.
Like, it's done. Like, they are going to become KRS1, unfortunately.
Mm.
But he was legit like, oh, that's Sully.
Mhm.
So they are going to become, clap your hands, everybody. How shameful that is.
Didn't have to do all that, but I feel you. No, you're right. You're right.
No, it's a shame.
People's references are different, and they're always going to be, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because they weren't outside when we were outside.
Yeah.
Which is what it is.
Yeah.
We went outside when, KRS-One was doing this thing. I mean, Peter was. But,
selling bean pies. But yeah, you're right. So I guess it just becomes a thing where we judge them on the albums now, innit? Which we're starting to now. Albums is definitely a big thing now. Just look what happened last year. Nux, Koji. You figured it out.
Other people that will probably have longevity as well.
Yeah. Who do you think's got in terms of longevity? Who could you see sustaining the longest in the UK over the next decade?
Stormzy.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
You don't think his legs will run out?
Sims is going to keep going.
I think
I don't think Huss is going to drop better albums, man.
He's dropping one this year though.
Yeah.
You don't think he's going to drop better albums? Sorry.
Bear.
Oh. I think he's once every 3 years, guys.
That's calm.
That's perfect to me though. That's perfect to me.
He feels like a 6-5 album type brother for me.
But, they're probably going to be like very good to classic albums.
But that's what I prefer, bro. I prefer the quality over a smaller bracket. I prefer that, man. I don't need bear.
But I think the UK does that though. I think in the UK, we've still got an era of mystique in the UK about how often we drop albums here. Because Dave dropped once every what? Drake dropped his first album like 3 years ago?
Dave?
Yeah. Psycho Drama.
2019, yeah.
And the second one, 2022.
2021.
Oh, yeah, Huss. So I think we drop every 3 years here. Every 4 years. 3 years.
Yeah. Depends on the artist, doesn't it?
Facts.
But I can't say the longevity with Stormzy is a good one.
No, I think he will. I mean, he's too
big
to not. You know what I'm saying? I think he's still got a lot that he wants to say. It'd probably be the same as Dave, where he probably only drops one every 2-3 years, but that'll be enough. I don't know if he'll reach like 9-10 albums, but if he does, I won't be surprised. Man, salute to all the rappers with longevity.
Apart from the ones that don't have it. Eminem.
However you view longevity.
Yeah.
People view it in different ways.
For sure. Facts.
Kamikaze.
What?
I said Kamikaze.
Twister.
Nah,
He's got an album called Kamikaze.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, no. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic now, and we're going to switch our focus to the UK. But before we get into that, we do want to talk generally about music videos and how much of an important role they play in rap generally. And obviously, for us growing up and just generally like a generation of rap fans, the music video was like very important. It was the first point of call to see your favorite rappers in all of their glory. Everyone from Hype Williams to Director X to Cole Bennett now in the present day.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Hype Usher.
What do I hype up? I
don't know why. And now I'm thinking of a SLK video.
What, Hype?
Yeah.
Saskia.
I'm just trying to set up this topic, guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm done.
Keep this in.
That's a big song, though.
Listeners, you see the struggles. But yeah, from Hype Williams to Director X to Cole Bennett in the present day, the music video is and always will be very important, even if there are debates these days about their relevance and their importance in the present day. Now, obviously in the UK, the music video is just as important, and we kind of wanted to explore the evolution of music videos in the UK because it's been quite a journey, really, just as far as how we see our stars and our faves presented in video format. So, boys, as Peter says, react. Evolution of music videos in the UK. Where do we start?
What
was your first UK music video?
That was 2, First one I remember, 21 Seconds. That I just remember watching every day kind of so. But you know what's one that would always stick into my head? More Fire Crew Oi. That's one video that was like I just remember reacting to and just thinking, yeah, this is fucking crazy. And just rushing home. That's the two that kind of the early videos. I would say So Solid Crew 21 Seconds. And I would say More Fire Crew Oi. Those are the first two I kind of think of music video wise.
I remember Pay As You Go, Cartel, Champagne Dance.
Okay.
I remember that one vividly. More Fire Crew, yeah. Pow, obviously Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah.
Dizzy Rascal, Just a Rascal. And I Love You. These are all, I mean, listen, what a time, right? But yeah, Pay As You Go, I definitely remember that as the first one. And then it kind of just evolved with like Chan Yu and stuff, which is obviously very important for the topic. P?
Yeah, same really. Channel U and MTV Base were like hella important for the music videos that I saw growing up. Yeah, the ones you guys mentioned, didn't it? Like So Solid, 21 Seconds. I don't remember Pairs You Go, really. Dizzy, remember seeing Dizzy a lot. More Fire Crew, I remember seeing them quite a bit. Like I think my memory kind of recalls in errors.
Same.
The different errors, innit? And I feel like the UK also had our own developments as far as like music videos and that, because we had our rappers in like the 80s and the 90s that, you know, had the turntables and that. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a brother's name called like Derek B.
Derek B.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And like why are you laughing for?
Why say it like that?
How do I say it?
Derek B.
You made it seem like it was the
Like
60s.
he's not a pioneer.
Yeah, you made it like it was the 60s.
But yeah, so I feel like we kind of had our eras where we were kind of following what was happening over in America and that, and then we started putting our own spin on it. So after you had like the Derek B's and that, for me, then you had like the garage era. And I feel like stylistically, a lot of their videos were like the same. Do you know what I mean? Like seeing like early So Solid, and I can't remember some DJ Neat, MC Neat and DJ Luck and that. A lot of their videos were like pretty much the same in that. They were all like club settings and like strobe lights.
Champagne.
Do you know what I mean? And
Babes.
then you go into the Channel U era, which kind of felt like a more of a do-it-yourself attitude. And felt like it was really independent. And I find it really interesting because like going back before that, that's when it felt like labels were kind of, you know, embracing us a little bit with like garage in that, like UK rap in that. And then when we go into like the Channel U era, it's like, you know, there was nothing after that. And you would have thought that maybe because of Dynamite and So Solid, they may have wanted to embrace more of what we were doing. But I guess maybe because it was a different sound, they weren't going to. So visually, they weren't going to as well.
Plus, garage had proven that it could sell.
Mm.
Number 1 albums. So Solid won a couple of awards. Obviously, Miss Dynamite won, as we said in the last episode. She got a lot of critical acclaim. So there was a lot of safety, I suppose, in knowing that those acts and that sound was going to be successful because it was the popular sound. And then when grime comes into the mix, it's not accepted immediately, and B, I imagine they're very scared of it because it's a lot of you know, young black men, you know, all black, grainy videos, you know, the Channel U type of aesthetic. It was something that they didn't really get or understand and really see as. It's a bit, I suppose it's the same as like what the disco lot thought about hip hop. It's just a fad. It's not going to last, this, that, and the other.
Mm.
And I imagine that's how people felt about grime as well, the garage heads included. Grime had to prove that it could do what it could do. And obviously people like Dizzy and Kano were very instrumental in that. And those are guys who, you know, had built up enough hype, doing sets and side wideners and all that stuff to where they got signed and they were able to get label budgets to drop more glossy videos like, well, I mean, P's and Q's wasn't really that glossy. I'm thinking of, was Brown Eyes glossy?
Brown Eyes.
I mean, he's walking along
Glossier.
the beach.
It was glossier. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I suppose. And then Dizzy, Just a Rascal, he's just on the he's just in London doing his thing. So
music videos were like always very important for me, man. I think when Channel U was doing this thing, it was important to put faces to these people that I was hearing as well, because like I'd hear little freestyles of certain artists like on my friends' phones and that, but I never knew what a lot of these men looked like. I didn't know what Rough Squads a lot of them men looked like for a long time. So Channel U allowed for us to kind of put faces to that,
because it was just before YouTube as well, so you could have really. It was just kind of that cross between, because I feel like Channel U collided perfectly when YouTube first started rolling out. So if you didn't know who he was, like Chipmunk, I knew had Chipmunk bare times growing up. I see Chipmunk a couple times, but it's only when his music video came on Channel U that I was like, okay, this is my man. I forgot what song it was. Do you remember?
Chip Diddy Chip?
No, before Chip. Before Chip Diddy Chip. It was like, I am the Grand Sea Savior.
Oh, right.
And you just see his video, that video for this, but that's one that sticks with me. So yeah, I agree with you there in terms of putting faces to names. Channel U was key. But I do think we've leveled up in videos now. I feel like we take visuals a lot more serious than the States when you look at the UK videos.
More serious than the States?
If you look at UK videos on a whole, like even with Mo Stack, the way he just travels abroad and does videos, I feel like UK's music videos I think they've taken it very seriously. I think we've stepped up.
I don't think you can say we take it more serious than the States, because we still kind of cat a lot of what they do. Like a lot of them.
I don't think America takes.
There's a format. There's definitely a format.
I don't think they take visuals seriously over there anymore. I generally don't think they do. I'm
I think
talking
it depends
but
on
I'm
who
talking
you're
new
talking
artists.
about, bruv.
I'm talking about new artists. I'm just saying everyone from not talking about from way back when. I'm talking about from everyone from let's say 2015 onwards. If you compare their new artists to our new artists, I think visually we are better.
I think that speaks to
That might be the quality of the art as well. Though.
no, not even that. I think it speaks to just more how. I think it's more advanced over there, isn't it? So obviously, because their scene is established, a lot of things come from hip hop. They don't need to do as much. They don't need to shoot as many videos, whereas we do. We need those visuals. We're in a time where, as there are going to be continuous like technical advancements in that, and we need to ensure that we're keeping up with that as well. Visuals for artists that are trying to get their name out there as well, very important, so that you can learn more about it. People are on YouTube, on the internet all the time, so America don't really need to shoot videos.
No, but that's
like
what I'm
that.
saying. I agree. But that's why I think visually we've been better as well. Maybe
I
it's
don't know,
'cause
but I'm not going to say we've been better though, because I still feel like there's a format. And like in my head, I was breaking it down as far as errors and that. And like Channel U era, there was a format for that too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Every man was like, you had like gang of man behind you.
and you knew what it was on.
The footage was a bit grainy. You were on the block, outside the block. You were on the road somewhere, unless you're bear man when you're running through the woods.
And
Sorry, I just
if it was like if it was a posse cut, the person that then started rapping, there would be a still, and then his name would pop up.
I used to hate that shit
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
hate
It was
like, it would just
important, though.
pop up underneath
Yeah,
or just
yeah,
pop
yeah.
up over
Yeah.
in graffiti style
door to the
writing.
door, and then
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then the name.
Just graffiti
Exactly.
writing.
But for me, there's errors though. And because of that, I think in those errors there are formats for the videos that were being made. Because then after you had the Channel U age and that, when grime started kind of dying out and that, then you had the era of where like certain men started trying to cross over. Some of our favorites started crossing over.
The
Like
Tinchy era.
Tinchy and Tyro Cruz era. Yeah, the Wiley
Tiny.
and Skepta with the Rolex eras and that.
Very glossy.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? And that's when I feel like
That's our Jiggy era.
labels were, yeah, probably.
That's what you
That was where more like labels were kind of like in the fold a bit more. And you had Chip also doing a bit of the glossy videos too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then from that point, it feels like videos probably got better because labels got
Just money got
introduced,
better.
Yeah, the budget
Budget
increased.
Yeah.
increased.
But then there are also independent artists that will release some quality music videos as well.
But then it couldn't that.
And you could probably like place like a lot of the kudos from like GRM Daily and SBTVs and that because
But
they
couldn't-
came into the fold, and I think that affected how videos were being made too because they were shooting a lot.
True.
Yeah. But I
Well-
think everything just got better as a whole. Do you get what I'm saying? I think we just upped it, the level. Whether it was the sound quality, the music quality, the video. I think over the years we've just got money that we've never seen before, exposure that we've never seen before, and naturally videos are going to resonate. That
I don't necessarily want to equate more budget or more money to better. The reason why I say that is because someone like Skepta, the That's Not Me video, that cost him £80 to make. And it was a very impactful song and a very impactful video, just as far as him rapping by Maximum on the decks. And then in the background, you've got all of the old Sidewinder, Risky Rolls footage from way back in the day when them guys were like younger and doing their thing. And that was just as impactful as anything that would have cost 10 times as much.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on the kind of direction that videos have taken, just as far as like creatively. I think that's definitely increased because, again, as you guys say, UK artists are paying more attention to the visual aspect of it. A lot of them, some of them are even directing their own videos as well. So there's that. And yeah, there's more care and craft towards that.
Yeah.
But again, if you give someone like £100,000 to do a video and they've got shit ideas, it's gonna turn out shit, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the person behind the idea.
And even on like just going back to what I said about there being a format for the different eras, I'm not saying that where it was bad because I feel like for a lot of the things that were established as far as format in the Channel U era, very important for what we see today. I feel like that's the foundation for what a lot of men build their videos around, isn't it? It's very easy. It's not I don't think it's bad. Easy doesn't mean bad. It's just another way of showing where you're from. And I feel like a lot of the format that was the foundation that was put forth as well was like another way of bringing people into like, the world of these artists as well, especially where, these labels were scared to touch a lot of these artists and therefore weren't really trying to know about who these artists were. The visuals gave you an opportunity to do that.
Facts.
I agree.
100%. And again, it kind of just goes down to the overall development of the scene, because as the scene develops, obviously everything else is going to develop around it. you know, just as far as artists are concerned and the kind of infrastructures that they're in that allow them to be able to maximize their visual desires on any particular video. Um, as far as like modern day videos, are there any that, you know, kind of stick out to you?
Bar the Stormzy one, obviously.
Or Mel made me do it, yeah.
Sims Point and Kill. I love that video.
Fantastic video.
Love that video. Yeah.
Trying to think.
Nux Hide and Seek.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Told a
that.
great story.
Yeah. Leon the Professional as well.
Yeah.
Very simple but effective.
Yeah.
Visually, I love Mo Stack's Do What I Wanna video. Just visually.
Pretty much all of Koji Radical's since about 2016.
Yeah.
Because they've all been very powerful in their own way.
Kashmir Tears is probably my favorite video of his.
Yeah, I think the more quote unquote alt artists, I don't know. Okay, I don't want to say that they're creatively better, but they just seem to have a little bit more variety.
They break out of the mold.
Yeah.
They break out of the format.
Yeah, versus that kind of mainstream artists that, you know, kind of do the same thing, girls shaking the ash and all that stuff.
Which I'm not mad at.
Which is fine, but ultimately,
respectfully,
it depends on what you want from. It depends on what you want. It depends on what you want from a video. Do you want the video to kind of tell the story of the song itself, or do you kind of want it as a kind of supplement to the actual content itself, sort of thing? And I think that's where a lot of mainstream artists go. They see the chance to make a video, and it's just like, yeah, let's just show everyone how much we're balling and we're flexing and how rich we are, versus actually telling the story of the song. So I guess it just depends on what you want to do with that. As
I get older, though, I don't really care for music videos anymore, man. Like, I'm just about the music. If the music video accompanies it, then great. But I'm not someone that searches for it, man.
Is that you, or is that just the way the world's heading?
I can only speak for myself.
Do you get what I mean? Though? I feel like the world's just heading. The world's heading there, bro. No one goes on. Everyone goes on YouTube. If we go on YouTube, it's more time. If I'm going on YouTube, it's to watch first things first, to watch something. I'm not going there. I remember the last time I went on YouTube and actually let me go listen to this music. Do you know what I mean? It's just, if I'm going to listen to music, it's very much Spotify, whatever it is. Yeah. I'm not going on YouTube on my phone to go. Nah, never.
Question though: have videos here always been a bit repetitive?
In terms of what?
Expand.
Themes, just how you would see, what you would see in your videos and how the videos are. The reason why I ask, because in the garage area, a lot of them were doing same sort of themes in their music videos. And then you go to the Channel U era, a lot of them were doing some of the same themes.
I think it's different now.
Garage, let me go deeper. The garage era, a lot of them all in clubs. You know what I mean? Your DJ all up in the, you know what I mean? Had people just having a good time in that. Channel U era, every man was in front of their block with a gang of men behind them. You might see some baddies, you might not. You might be fortunate to see some, but you might not.
I don't think that's the case today, though.
And then after the Channel era, where people started trying to cross over, you know, a lot of designer wear started coming into it, where you had like Versace shades and that. I'm thinking of Tinchy specifically.
Standing on some elevated stuff.
There was always like a lovely young woman beside them. They were always just mad glossy in it, chains and everything in it. And then I guess after that, it kind of felt like, all right, now people are trying to find their own way of doing videos differently. But for the more time, there was still like very repetitive though.
I think it was the way you said it. Yeah. I think depending on the era that it was, because that Rolex sweep era was kind of nasty. It was a very, very
nasty.
It was in a nasty place for a little while, guys. We've came through it, but alhamdulillah, but it was in a nasty scene. But that was all kind of one. I think now, because of the difference, you've got Dave kind of, I think, doesn't Dave do his own videos? I'm sure he done Funky Friday.
He does. He does co-direct sometimes,
yeah. I think he had co-directed Funky Friday. And if you look at that video, the skill of that video was ridiculous. So I don't think it's repetitive now. Unless you're always going to get 50 man bellied up if it's drill.
Or maybe it's just reflecting the time.
You know I mean? Maybe it's just Giggs talking the hardest as well. That's probably the scariest video in UK history.
But I think depending on the song, the blueprint's always going to be the blueprint. It doesn't change. Whether it's America, whether it's here.
Or does it just reflect the time? Are these videos just reflecting the times? So when, you know, the garage era was doing that was reflecting what was popular in our community. Channel U era, again, same thing. Do you know what I mean? Post Channel U, same sort of thing with different artists. Is it just reflecting the times that we're in?
I think it might also reflect.
Because you're always going to get these things, isn't it? You're always going to see videos of people in clubs. People club. You're always going to see videos of people with a gang of man in front of their block.
People
because that's real life. Do you know what I mean? So is it just that, or are we lacking some artistic something?
I think they may have been, maybe generations were following what visually
they knew
was successful or looked successful as far as being able to look the part in order to be successful. Like the garage lot, parties, excess, all that good stuff. Grime lot, grainier, maybe a little bit more quirky and creative, but still in the type of, you know, this is the underground, this is London, this is that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that was what was popular at the time, and that was what, you know, meant something to them. So maybe they're just kind of following, maybe they were all following an idea of what was relatable to them and what made sense to them. I don't necessarily think that's hampered like the UK music video, but it is something to consider for sure. But listen, man, we've come a long way, and there's a lot of good directors doing it now as well. There's Nathan Tetty, he directs for Heady One and a bunch of other drillers. There's Ashley Jade.
Whenever Yemi says drillers, I laugh, man.
Hey man, there's Kirks, there's loads, and they're all doing their thing, making everyone look as good as possible. The actual art of directing has gotten better as well, because a lot of people are, you know, actually that by trade, like directors by trade, and not just like holding a camcorder or whatever. So that obviously is reflected as well. So yeah, man, I think it's gone through
a bit of a renaissance, isn't it?
Yeah, much like the UK scene in and of itself, musically, visually, it's gone through its own kind of like development and renaissance for sure.
Yeah.
What's some of the worst videos you guys remember seeing?
What was the one? There was a disgusting end-ups one. It was like,
number one's pretty bad.
What was the one when they were walking upstairs, which I think someone was cheating on someone?
Oh, don't waste my time.
Yeah, disgusting video.
What didn't you like about it?
Just everything. He's knocking on the door, and someone's knocking on the door. Just grainy. It looks like it's on 240p.
It's telling the story though.
Nah, don't piss me off, bro. It's 240p. Can't even see the brother's head because it's cut off at some point. Can't see the female's knees because it's cut off. Like, it's just ridiculous. Nah, that video is charity, fam. Nah, honestly, yeah, that's the first. You see how quick I answered that? That's always gonna stick in my head. That video is pathetic.
The first video that I remember loving was from a UK artist, might have been P's and Q's, you know.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah. It was just so simple and basic, but I was just like, yo, this guy's...
In the Ghetto. In the Ghetto's video was, to me, it's iconic.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it's iconic to me. Did you say Titchy Strider number one?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
Wasn't he standing on something? And it was like black background or something? Because you know he's throwing it. He stood on something.
One of my earliest favorite videos was like Tinchy Underground.
It would be.
When he's on top of that brick wall.
It would be.
In the academics tracksuit. I remember that like it was yesterday, man.
I'm trying to think of other disgusting videos.
Tiny pass out. Pretty bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Yeah.
Wiley wearing my Rolex, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Rolex sweep.
Horrible, yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Some dark times, man.
Yeah, just that era generally. Because they're all wearing like really dead shades and
same sort of shit, right?
Really dead leather jackets with the spikes and those kind of half glove things and Ed Hardy, like
Ed Hardy, yeah.
Why was Ed Hardy ever a thing?
Because he had the time. Skepta used to love it. I wear Ed Hardy down to my socks. Got so much Ed Hardy. I can buy my own. Yeah, he used to love it.
And then they said Flow dropped.
Yeah,
and that's not me.
Oh, I'm trying to think of another video I hated. What was the one Chipmunk done in Glazemore School?
You should know.
Yeah, the school. He done it in Glazemore or Parkview. What was the one? Chip, did he chip? I don't want to hear no lip. Did he lip? Yeah. I didn't like that video.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't like that video.
I
didn't like that video.
Oopsie Daisy was pretty trash.
Oopsie Daisy was trash.
I just remember him walking down the stairs. Sad.
What's that song he had called? Is it called Diamond Pearls or
Diamond Rings?
I like that one. When he was in the mobster suit.
Wasn't he?
Remind me of Bugsy Malone.
Wasn't he dancing with them, man?
I don't
know on the stage.
I don't remember.
I feel like he was.
Was he dancing with them?
I think he was doing some dance moves still.
Big up Chip.
No, UK has had some horrendous music videos.
But now
I'm trying to think of some sort.
But now we're at a point where it's hard to find some terrible videos. They might be samey, but to call them terrible, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a bit like all music now is very well produced in the same way that a lot of videos now are very well put together.
Yeah.
It's just whether you like the actual content.
You still find your GRM Daily video where, there's a rapper in a hotel with a babe. There's a plethora of those.
That's always going to be there, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's always story. Like, if you're talking drill, you're always going to have 50 men behind you. Talking romance, you're going to have a babies with you. Some blueprints are always just going to be followed.
You don't really... when was the last time you saw a rap video where a man's begging for his babies back? You never really see that.
A rap video where he's begging for his baby.
DJ Ironic, stay with me.
Yeah, but in the video,
I heard
he
he sold
actually begging
CDs in Stratford.
I don't know.
You know that?
I just don't remember he was in a church.
Yeah, you know
Have
that.
we ever even seen that in a rap video where he's begging for his babes back?
What, just a
I don't
rapper?
understand
Yeah.
the relevance of
I
this.
thought you said DJ Ironic. You know
Drake,
DJ
do you
Ironic
understand
sells
the
his...
relevance of this?
Quick question, yeah? Can I tell someone?
The point I'm trying to make
I
is
really
we
wanna say
need
this
some more
fact.
man begging for their babes back.
No, we don't. The hell, go listen to Ray J One Wish, bruv. About we need rappers. No, I don't. I need my rappers.
We just need a bit more creativity and
Yeah,
like, you know
nah,
what I mean?
man.
If you got a song about a babes, why not? You got to show both sides. If
Nah.
if that's the like content of the song too, why not?
Go listen to LL Cool J Hush.
Ugh.
I'm just saying, innit? But back to DJ Ironic. You know he sells CDs at Stratford.
Don't do that to DJ Ironic, man. Shout out to DJ Ironic. He had a couple tunes though. Tiny Dancer.
What was his songs? I actually don't remember DJ Ironic
I
songs
think
like that.
Tiny Dancer was with Chip.
So yeah,
He sampled Elton John. I remember that one. That was good.
I don't remember DJ Ironic like that. I remember him. Don't get me wrong, but I don't remember. There was
I just remember Stay With Me. And I think he was visiting, he was in a church and he was visiting maybe his babe in the hospital. So,
Yeah, I have something like
I
that
don't
about that in my memory.
anyway, man.
But Peter wants PSA to rappers: get your babes back, according to
So
Peter.
what I'm saying is, if you've got a song that is about a babe and you're begging for her back, do you know what I mean? Reflect that in the video. That's all. You don't really see that.
Okay,
there are new-
I
and
thought
there-
you meant songs like that. Sorry,
Oh,
you mean,
and there are numerous rappers that talk about, oh, you know, I lost my babes, or I'm cheating. on them.
So
Do
you
know what I
wanna
mean?
see
They
a-
don't really reflect it in videos.
So
So
you
I'm just
wanna-
saying reflect it in the video.
So you want to see a telenovela of a guy
Yeah, he definitely
getting
does.
his babes back?
On Nollywood drama. He wants it. And
It
on
wasn't-
that note,
It was a telenovela.
I mean, we could talk about R&B as well, man.
What do you mean
People
about
don't
R&B?
really talk about, they don't really like beg for their babes back no more. Everyone's too cool, man.
No one asked for their babes back, innit? Especially guys. Guys don't ask for. Yeah, guys
It's a
don't ask for
shame,
their
man.
babes back.
why are you indulging him?
That's gone
It's
now.
a shame.
It's
you know.
2023.
But I'm talking about R&B though.
R&B.
Boys, it's after 10.
R&B is. Yeah, you don't. Hey, man. I'm going to see Chris Brown.
Keep that in.
Salute to the UK scene. Salute to music videos. Salute to everybody doing it right now. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how the music video develops in this country. We're going to end really quickly with another topic. We're going to talk about the UK some more. And we're going to talk about one of the greatest crews. I mean, they kind of were, but they also weren't. But anybody who grew up in the 2000s will have heard of this crew. Consisted of some heavy hitters even back then, but even heavier now. This group contained, let me get my notes, because I named them all. Kano, Jammer, DEE, Footsie, Ghetts, Demon, Stormin, rest in peace, Mac 10, Sharky Major, Hitman Tigger, Lil Nasty, Louis White, Terror Danger, and Fizz.
We had some disgusting names back in the day, but that's another story for
This
another day.
crew was known as Nasty Crew. Marcus Nasty as well. Right, imagine. Yeah. No, I don't know why I forgot that.
What?
Yes, Nasty Crew.
That should have been the first name you said.
Well, for reasons that I'll get into after the pod. Nah. But Nasty Crew were very much like one of the first really big grime crews. They didn't have a lot of music out. I remember Take You Out, which is like a grime classic. But I thought about them the other day and I thought to myself, Nasty Crew, is the Nasty Crew and the fact that they never really blew or went anywhere, is that the biggest what if in grime / UK rap history? Because based off the names that I've mentioned, bro, they had a crew that could have taken them from then to even now. And they would have still been relevant. So, yeah, that's just a question I wanted to pitch to you boys.
Nah,
No.
It's not the biggest.
no.
No.
Do you want to explain?
Nah, bro. They probably wouldn't have even stayed together, man. I just don't think they're the biggest what if. I think the movement is the biggest what if, to be quite honest with you. And we saw like what happened with them. So there was no chance like Nasty Crew could have like gotten to that point because people don't really even know Nasty Crew as a collective like that. I don't think the names that you just named, the greats that we consider to be great, weren't in the crew long enough for us to consider them to be Nasty Crew. Do you know what I mean? I think they were affiliated at one point or another, but not for long enough to where we can place them in that conversation as biggest what ifs. Nah, not at all. Not for me anyway.
So not just off the names.
No, movements
No,
were.
they weren't, bro. They weren't really there for long enough, you know.
The movement is not.
Because all the names you mentioned, I don't think they were all there at the same time.
I mean, Kano, D-Double, Jammer, they were all there at the same
It
time.
was a very short period, though, bro. It was a very short
Yeah,
period.
I understand that, but at the same time, the fact that they were even a crew to begin with, and the fact that they've now become who they've become, obviously hindsight is 2020, but when you think back, it's like, rah, they obviously left a lot of potential on the table.
Are they your biggest what if?
No,
Oh.
I'm just posing the question. I'm literally posing the question. That's what I do, boys.
No, it's the way you was. No, it's funny. Sorry, man.
I don't have a biggest what if necessarily, but I feel like any crew that has that level of star power has to be considered.
I don't think so, man. Like Ghetts and Kane, cool. We consider D Double to be a legend, but I don't feel like
outside them three.
Outside of them three,
Jammer has become. He's carved his way. No, actually, no. Jammer is a legend.
Yeah, but he's
Jammer's a legend because Jammer's a legend.
Yeah, he's not a legend for his music.
Yeah,
he's not.
It's
He's a
Jammer.
legend for. He's a figure, a huge figure in our scene, but not for the music. We are judging this. We would be judging this crew based on their music, right?
More music and impact, what they've been able to do.
So then, nah, because if you're D Double, we had that solo album yet from D Double.
We've got 2.
Okay, 2, which was like dropped how many years after he was doing his thing, really?
But he was still that guy back then.
Yeah, amongst MCs, he was like an MCs. But the point I'm trying to make is, I just don't feel like Ghetts and Kane alone could have like upheld that crew enough to where we're looking at Nasty Crew as like the biggest what ifs. Because D Double, it took him a while to even get to a point where he was able to drop the 2 things, right? Even though he was respected amongst other MCs, still it's not enough for me.
Still the impact though. And we can't ignore the impact.
No, what's the impact?
DWE.
No, I'm talking about generally Nasty Crew.
Nasty Crew.
I think you're talking more individual though.
No, I was talking individual. I wasn't talking about Nasty Crew.
Okay.
But I mean, if we're going to quantify their impact as a crew, I mean, it's very minimal because, like you said, they weren't able to last that long. But for the sheer fact of having so many characters in that crew that are still household names, and that's just outside of the top liners like Ghetts, Kane, and D Double. When you think about someone like Terror Danger, who's established himself as like a very good producer,
yeah, for sure.
You know, Marcus Nasty, he's still very much like a figure. There's still a lot of like prestige in that crew. So I think it's a bit like Pay As You Go, where they had Wiley, they had Genius, who founded Rinse FM, Slimzy, who a lot of people consider the best grime DJ ever, DJ Target, very well respected in the scene. So I guess it's that same kind of thing.
But we look at them more as solo guys. We don't look at them as guys
Collective.
that came from Pay As You Go. Therefore, no matter what they did,
it's always going to be individual.
Yeah, we look at them as individual. Don't look at them as, you know, these things didn't allow for them to like propel like Pay As You Go as one of the greatest crews ever. So, and I think it'd be the same with Nasty Crew. I don't think no matter how great we think Kane, Ghetts, and D Double are, their individual greatness would not have been enough for us to start considering Nasty Crew as one of the greatest ever. Because it's similar to the Wu-Tang thing. The reason why we see them as like one of the greatest is because of what they did together before they went off and did their solo thing. Nasty Crew never did that, bro. They were cool, the solo things happened, but as a crew, they were never great.
Fair. Mo, anything else?
No, I'm just, with me, it's just more, because Scorcher's my biggest what if in UK rap. That's why I'm always going to have the movement ahead. Do you know what I mean? If Scorcher to me is the biggest what if everything went
We've got to apply the same logic to the movement then, don't we?
What do you mean?
I mean, even though they dropped a mixtape, they weren't around long enough to really penetrate as a group either.
I hear you, but to me, I was just more of a fan of them than I am.
No, that's
just
fair.
individual fan. Individually, I'm way more of a fan of the movement than I am of Nasty Crew. So with me, if Scorcher's the biggest what if, and if that all went well, it's gonna be the movement for me. Just because if that all panned out well, you're looking at 3 or 4 of arguably the top pens ever in the UK. Do you know what I mean? That's 4 of the top. Let's just say even when you keep it nice, say top 10. That's solid. 40% of your top 10 in one click. Imagine if that all worked out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same logic as Nasty Crew. Imagine if it all worked out.
But I don't think Nasty Crew rappers hold.
I mean,
one evens itself out. One cancel each other out. But then, I'm not. I don't even want to sound blasphemous against DEE, and it's gonna sound blasphemous.
No, I wasn't a big.
I'm not the biggest DEE fan.
But I respect him.
But he's a legend. Don't get me wrong. He's an undisputed legend, Hall of Famer, whatever you want to give him. I'm just saying, to me, who I'm a fan of, it's always going to lean towards the movement. That's why to me, Nasty Crew.
That's absolutely fine. And I'm not saying that you need to in any way consider Nasty Crew. What if I just posed a question?
That's a great question, though. Who's the biggest what if rap in the UK?
It's not Scorcher.
To me, it's Scorcher. Sorry to let you down there.
Yeah.
I was a Scorcher fan though. Like I was a massive Scorcher fan growing up. Massive.
Scorcher's up there for me.
Hey, you I think you
Yeah,
said
I was a
before.
Scorcher guy.
I don't have one right now.
Simply the best volume 1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Scorcher's in that conversation for me.
Yeah.
Scorcher and Merkston, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you picked the movement, I guess, innit?
Yeah, I said that though.
Fair enough. Well,
salute to the Nasty Crew though.
Yeah, salute to all of them. You know, even if they were very, very short-lived, you know, for people who were there, I'm sure they still remember it. And yeah, the fact that they were able, a lot of them were able to carve out careers and be legends in whatever way. Testament to them.
I missed it.
Clearly.
Yeah, I can't lie, I missed it. I missed that whole train. Did you know?
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
I wasn't there. Maybe I was confined in Tottenham too much.
Probably.
I genuinely think it was that, guys.
What, you just being in Tottenham and never leaving?
Yeah. They skipped me.
To broaden your horizons.
I'm 30 years old now, I do. Now.
And back then.
You didn't even want to know me back then.
Worse than now.
Back then, they didn't know me.
In terms
Now
of how I
they
was.
all know me.
Yeah.
Did you eat veg?
Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lovely week. Catch you guys. Shout out to the Spotify Massive, the YouTube
We don't
Massive.
need to do all that right now. Don't need to do all that right now. Did that already. But thank you.
Any shout outs, guys?
Oh, you trying to get us out of here for real?
No, genuinely, that's what I'm saying.
No, I feel you. Well, shout outs. Shout out Ice Spice.
This guy here, fam.
It's my shout out.
Shout out Coiler Ray.
Shout out Benzino's daughter.
You should shout out to Coiler Ray.
Yeah.
Fair
It's
dues.
based on the conversation we were having.
Her song is stuck in my head, by the way.
I know it.
Oh, that's fucking.
She's got a
I've
song
not
with Central
heard-
C now.
I've heard none of her
I
music.
heard it. No, there's a tick. You don't use TikTok, do you?
No.
Bro, Dan used it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Virginia in a case. Apple banana in a ace. That fucking song has been in my head the whole week.
I've never heard Coil.
I'll play it for you.
Actually, I have, but
I think she's got the
nothing
biggest.
memorable.
I think she's got the biggest song on TikTok right now.
Good for her, man.
No, shout out to Coiler Ray, man. Honestly, I'm never gonna listen to you, but salute to you.
Feel you. And salute to all the listeners, man. Salute to Drake's as well.
Salute to Drake's in the
Always
cut.
making us look great. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that'll do it for episode 85. Had a great time. Thank you, boys, once again.
I got one more shout out. I want to shout out Neo Long. Because you've been looking absolutely phenomenal. So I wanted to salute Neo Long.
For about 40 years.
Fam,
30,
it's
40
not even
years.
funny.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
That's longevity.
Bro, that's longevity. Yeah, she gets longevity.
That's longevity, bro.
She ain't never dropped a bad album.
Symbolism at the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast. I love it. But yes, you'll see us very, very soon. Shout us out on all of the socials. We are on @RhymesDimesPod, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow us on YouTube as well. We're @RhymesDimesPod there as well. Hit the bell so you're notified whenever we drop album reviews, new episodes, posts, shorts, all that good stuff. Yeah. We'll see you very soon. So until then, take care, stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.
We're leaving the words that we came. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
Wait, shagalam.